Hey Gemini, welcome to my channel. So glad to be back with you guys for another weekly reading. I did hear in your meditation that being physical right now, extremely physical. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. All right, being extremely physical right now. Wait, what? Okay, I want this here. Is the key to learning how to manage your emotions. There's a group here who is in the process of letting go of things that no longer serve them. People, places, things, substances, different for different people. But what they're saying, I'm going to put it like this for you guys. How about that? So we have the Magician, we have the Hierophant, and they're saying that it's time for you to learn new ways, new behaviors to handle and experience your emotions. So, if you're somebody who is letting go of a substance, emotions are going to come up you're not used to dealing with because it's being shut down by substances. And now you have to learn. Damn, this is going to be a story down here. So, you know what? I'm going to do it this way so I can see it for myself, that I can speak to it better. All right. All right, so, and this is going to go here. Sorry, they're giving me a layout here, a storyline, so I have to do it exactly how they tell me to. All right. So, in the past, you were doing a lot of manifestation work, and you weren't realizing that you were doing a lot of manifestation work, and it was through physical action. So, in the past, you were learning to do things in life through physical action. All right? And what you were doing, what you were following, like guidelines or structures or of organizations or religions or programs or whatever your situation is where this was going to resonate with you. You were using your mental acuity to do this. All right, you were using your mental acuity, but now you're going to be stepping into a place where you're using your emotional acuity to manifest what you want instead of using mental and physical energy to manifest what you want. Mental, yes, you're going to do that, but it's really about the feeling with you. And what they're showing me here, emotionally in the past, you had a lot of success with taking action and having some structure to your day, right? It made you feel good. You were able to take things on that were new. Like you didn't, you had celebrations, friendships. Maybe you hung out with a lot of people. You met some new people because you've got the Ace of Cups and the Two of Cups, and this is all coming out in the past. So what started out is like something that you actioned into being, something or a relationship or something here that you actioned into being through physical communication and through your actual actions. Started out nice. This is like the honeymoon period, right? This is the honeymoon period. This is all about love and happiness and celebration. But what happened was that took a very dark turn to where what once what once was great in this honeymoon period now all of a sudden became not so great. There was some rejection, feeling left out, not equal give and take. It was just it's constantly feeling like there was somebody else. Like maybe you were you started a new relationship with somebody. You went hot and heavy. It was great. But then all of a sudden, as you got to know them, you started realizing that they don't like to put other people first once the novelty wears off, or that they were talking about another person that they were with romantically, like constantly talking about them, making you think that they were comparing you or something, but you felt left out. Okay. It's like somebody else, I feel like someone else ended this connection. And well, no, they're saying some of it's mutual. Like maybe you were feeling this connection, you were feeling this rejection, but finally someone else just had to walk away. And when that happened, that has spurred like a spiritual awakening. And if it's not a person, it can be a circumstance, it can be a job, it can be, but I really do feel like it's a relationship with an individual. I do feel that way. But that's what spurred it was. Okay, my light just flickered. It spurred your... I got somebody knocking on my door. All right, it was my puppy dog. She wanted in. My puppy dog. All right, so when this happened, there was some type of... I don't know. You may not have been ostracized, but it felt like you were being ostracized. Not being able to be a part of things, not... And that's what it was. It's like you wanted to be a part of it so badly. And what ended up happening, that this really happy thing that started out great ended up turning out emotionally, like leaving you dejected, leaving you feeling like there was just never the priority, never the person of point, you know. And I feel like you made that person this point. And when you started reclaiming your power here in the past, when you were shown like, okay, I've hit rock bottom, this really rocked me, the only way to go is up from this point. That's why the judgment's here. But as you were going up, you were still emotionally feeling like this. That's like what started out as such a beautiful connection, a beautiful, just happy-go-lucky, a lot of, just a lot of partying, a lot of just, good stuff. A lot of partying. There was a lot of partying. All right. So what started out with your mental and physical action turned out to show you the true intentions of people through the emotional set points that they created. So you still felt like, this is bullying to the nth degree, right? Look at this. Look at my nail. I have a heart on my nail. This is not love here. You see this? It looked like this on the outside. It's like once the partying started to go away, the novelty wore off. It's like, you could be around somebody for so long when you're at a party. You could be around somebody for so long and have them be in a good mood. But then, when you start spending more time with them, you start to see other patterns and behaviors in these people. And that's what's happened. So in the past, emotionally, you felt completely dejected. Completely dejected. All right. They want me to keep this here under this column as well, because this is where you're at right now. I love it. Man, they really gave you some great things here. Okay. You know what I'm noticing? Down in the emotion column, your emotions, it's mental. It's swords down here. It's communication. There is not a connection between the mind and the heart right now, Gemini. And it's because you're so used to being deep in the mind that the heart, it's that you're not at a place where you're able to see the difference between the mind and the heart, like know which one is which. You're not in a position where you... Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Let me see if I can word this better. Your mind knows what your heart doesn't know, and vice versa. Your heart knows what your mind doesn't know, and it changes situation by situation. So sometimes you're really intelligent and you know what to do because your heart's all involved, or your mind's all involved, but the heart, it has not caught up to it. And so when you're not realizing, you're receiving the divine guidance, but the emotions are really where you're needing to be right now. This is the work that needs to be done. So, and this is kind of coming out in several readings, not like this. I didn't even have this set up for them, but in your present right now, you may find yourself kind of just going within, not doing much, keeping to yourself, You know, and this is a good place for you to be in. I don't know why my charm bowl's back here. And sometimes, like, I notice this happens to me a lot when I need an answer. I will ask for something, and then, you know, I'll see something, and then also my eyes will lock on it, and my eyes will not move. It's like they're glued, and I can see it coming up at me. That's what was happening with these two hearts. So what's happening right now is Source is the big heart. Your inner being is the big heart. And you are this little heart. And you see how it's kind of in reversed? You're intertwined, but they want to help you come up. It's like bring your heart the right way. Because right now it's kind of in reverse. And that's because you're so used to thinking things through analytically. And this is going to require an emotional game for you to play. It's going to require you to play this emotional game so that things just move smoothly for you. Yeah, this is it. So you can expect this week to have things pull on your heartstrings. And when it does, instead of saying, "Ooh, you know, I don't want to cry," are you crying because you're happy? Are you crying because you're sad? Are you crying? What's the reason that you're crying? Do the tears actually feel good to release? Because what they're saying is you've been around so many people who make you feel like it's not okay to cry and release that pain. But that is the most natural thing you can do. Remember that, Gemini. Your body was already built as a well-oiled machine. You didn't have to figure out how to make any of these organs work or to make yourself pee or poop or your heart beat or breathe. You didn't have to do any of that. You didn't. And that's what they're wanting you to remember here is you are this well-oiled machine, but through programming and experiences, the emotions got trampled as a child. And when your body, when those emotions get trampled, they were getting stuffed. You know, you keep crying, I'm going to give you something to cry about. I brought you in this world. I can take your ass out. Get your ass over here. Stop crying. Stiffen up that upper lip. Oh, you're fine. Get up. You're fine. Like, you see how, like, derogatory and mean that sounds? As a little kid, you didn't really understand that. You're not going to be able to remember those specific moments unless it was really, you know, traumatic for you. But you're not going to be able to remember those specific moments right now, but you are operating out of that behavior because you learned to stuff it as a kid, because who you were taught to rely on, the, you know, the adults in your life, whoever was taking care of you, whoever you were taught that was a safe person, they didn't have it all together. And I feel like they could have been cutthroat and harsh with their words. Yeah. And it's just something that you've come accustomed to. And what's happening now is you're in this present energy of soul searching. You're physically, I feel like you are definitely, you're just trying to be alone. You know, you're trying to figure things out. And in your emotional state, you going within, all right, you going within, Source is bringing you all of this beautiful information to your mind, healing in your this is actually in your mental. You've got 10 of Cups in your mental space in the present position. So what that's telling me is that you taking time away, all right, physically taking time away from people and really focusing on yourself is actually helping to heal your thoughts, heal the patterns that you were having programmed into you. You could be dealing with a Taurus. You could be dealing with a Virgo. You could be dealing with Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I mean, that's on here. I'm not seeing any pentacles on this table. Right now, your game is emotional and mental. So you taking this time is helping you heal through Source giving you guidance, through healing your mind, through messages that you're hearing, uplifting messages. All right. But this is what's happening. It's happening, and mentally it is happening for you. But emotionally, there's still this baggage because you're so used to having this stuffed down. Remember, as a child, stuffed down. Well, now you don't need to have this stuff down. Now it's time to bring this up. And what's going on here with the Judgment and the Five of Swords now in your present position, because it was in the past, now it's in the present. It's just moved along with you, but it's different. Before, this was just the calling card. Before, this was just the calling card. But now, this is the healing card. This is you in your current present position being pulled up out of this emotional toxicity. And do you see what I mean here? This is, you've got the cups in your mental space and you've got the swords in your emotional space. You see what I mean? It's backwards at the moment. So what Source is doing is they're bringing you up out of the depths of this emotional bondage that you've been in through helping you heal these faulty mindsets and messages that you have taken in. And what's going to happen in the present position or the future position, and I just got goosebumps everywhere. This doesn't feel far off. Some of you may just be starting to cut people out and really setting some strong boundaries for yourself and for other people. You're starting to set some really strong boundaries for yourself. My light just flickered. You're making a lot of headway here, Gemini, especially in Gemini season. Communication is going to be key in Gemini season. And the way you communicate is going to be vastly different than how you typically do. You're going to be in a position physically to know when to say something and know when not to say something. Know exactly what to say and exactly what not to say. Choosing yourself. You see this? There are 3 people here hanging from a noose in the back, and they're shadows, so they're dead, right? These are the things that are behind her. And she's focused on this garden. She's focused on the abundance. She's focused on what's blossoming for her. This is in the past. And this is in your physical future position. So this means that you go from manifesting things through action to saying, whoa, 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 this isn't working out for me. I need to take some time to myself, to realizing, oh, I am getting really good at learning self-discipline. I'm getting really good at realizing what the problem was. I wasn't seeing it before, but I'm seeing it clearly now that I've had time to myself. So in your mental column in the future, you're going to be receiving a lot of downloads from your spirit team. Source energy, your source. You have the human being, that is you, right? And then you have the inner being, that is the inner essence of the huge, larger part of you, that is basically the universe. Just call it the universe, because you are the universe. All right? We're all little walking earths here. But your inner being is going to be like spoon feeding you. I'm hearing literally bit by bit. So don't expect, all right, my light just flickered again. This is where you need to really pay attention, Gemini. All right? They're going to spoon feed this to you bit by bit. So situation by situation, you're going to find yourself. There's going to be times when you find yourself like, okay, I got that, but I want more. Like, all right, what else you got for me? What else you got for me? Because you get all excited in the meditation. It's like you can get all excited about the information you're receiving and you're like, ooh, I'm ready for more. It's because you're connected to your inner being. You're feeling frisky in that moment. You're feeling loved. You're feeling possibility. You're feeling anointed. You're feeling special. You're feeling honored in that moment. But when you get out of that meditation or out of that meditative state, that daydream type of state, and you start going through your day, you're going to realize like the bite-sized spoons that they're feeding you are exactly what you needed all along. You've been trying to take on way more than you're ready for. And that's what's been kind of shooting you in the foot. This time, you are going to slow roll this by being spoon-fed 1 bite at a time with what to do with in what situation in that current circumstance. These circumstances are going to be day to day this week, all right? This is you learning how to sit in the heart space and understand the difference between the mind and the heart and how they work. They work cohesively, but if one's out of whack, that's when we have too much masculine, too much feminine. This is about your balance. Mm-hmm. Because masculine energy is fire and air. And you have got air galore here. And the feminine energy, you have 1 card here. So there's a lot of masculine action energy here. All right. In the emotional, I want to clarify this because I'm getting two things here. I'm going to say what I got and then I'm going to clarify. Gemini, you have a tendency. Now, see how someone was doing this to you, and you see how this is like a father figure, and down here, they just look younger. They look younger, but they're not, you know, they're under his feet. So I'm just look at this like, a father and a child. Here, you're the child with this person, but here, you're being this person to a child, and you're not realizing it. That is for somebody specific. Now, as you heal your emotions, you're going to go through this period of time where you have these knee-jerk reactions because you're used to speaking with your head. Don't beat yourself up because somebody's going to say something, you're going to yell and have a knee-jerk reaction and say something. And it feels like a child. It feels like children. I'm sorry to say that, but it does. Just mom or dad getting upset and then they have misdirected anger and, I told you to clean your room. Pick that up. That type of energy. That is going to be healed. And what's going to happen first? You're going to recognize it after the fact. And you may have already started doing that. Like you say something in a split second and you're like, oh God, I shouldn't have said that. Damn it. Oh, fuck. Just fucked up again. And you go through that, oh, I just messed up again. Damn, am I ever going to get this right? What is wrong with me? And then you start beating yourself up. That is counterintuitive. That is you going right back to this energy. The only thing that's happening is that you are finally recognizing the pattern that's been there all along. And once you recognize it, knowledge is power. That's when you can begin to start shifting. Don't get mad at yourself if I'm going to cry. Like this is really touching my heart. Don't get mad at yourself if you do that. Just make up for it right now. Go back to that child or that person that you did this to and say, I am so sorry. I was angry and I took my anger out on you and I said something very hurtful. This is not how I feel about you. How I feel about you is ABC. This situation, though, didn't work out because ABC. I think we could do better with ABC. Ask the child for their input. What do you think would help us work better? What would you like to see? Speak to your children and give them a voice in how they want to be treated. You would be astounded. You would be astounded by the answers that the kids give with that question. How do you like to be treated? Ask your kids that. And when they start telling you ways they like to be treated, don't beat them up because the first thing they're going to do is, I like it when you, mommy or daddy or auntie or uncle or grandma, grandpa, whoever it is, I like it when you blah, blah, blah. That's great. Say, I love that too. Thank you for sharing that. But is there anything you would like, any ways you would like to be treated that you're not being treated right now? Have you watched any videos that you thought were heartwarming that touched your heart? And you said, I wish my mommy or daddy would do that for me. Or I wish my grandma, grandpa, whoever would do, Gemini would do that for me. And be open-minded and realize, although you're hurting, your hurt is hurting other people. And it's not that you're trying to do it intentionally. It's that you're trying to break this pattern. So don't beat yourself up when this happens. Don't beat yourself up because it's going to take you backwards. It's just you saying, oh, I recognize this now. I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. I'd like to get better. And write this stuff down. Put it on a piece of paper and tape it on a mirror or something. Remember what these people say about how you treat them. I just feel like you can be pretty harsh with your words. And that is, a split second burst of anger and saying a sentence or two can be years and years of damage to someone who just doesn't know how to process it. And if you're someone who's a parent here and you didn't know how to process this, and you repress those emotions, then you're only doing what you were taught. You're just in a position now where you're teaching yourself something different. And that's a good place to be. Yeah, there's going to be a beautiful transfer. I asked them to confirm that Knight of Swords. That's coming to an end. In the future, that Knight of Swords I just had, this was the confirmation for it. It's coming to an end. And if you notice with this death card, and they had me use this specific deck, this is a beautiful field with flowers blooming. There is not a Grim Reaper, there are no skulls, nothing. This is beautiful transformation. So you're going from this to this serene, beautiful place. And this is in your emotional area, right? So you're having emotional reactions and reacting with harsh words, and that's coming to an end. You're really coming into your own. It doesn't feel good recognizing these patterns. It doesn't feel good to recognize patterns, but it is important to do that. Cancer. So Cancer energy, you could be dealing with a Cancer, or it's saying, embody the Cancer energy. It's tradition, it's home, it's family, it's love, it's finding ways to just put smile, and it's like anything you do, just slap a smile on it. Whatever you do, what can I do to slap a smile on this project? What can I do to slap a smile on this conversation? That's what I just got. All right, so we have Sagittarius, we have Neptune, and then we have 6. Now, just a few letters, and then I'm getting out of here. They said there won't be a lot with the letters. It's just... Okay. Somebody's being too anal. Just, trying to chill out a little bit. Look, I have lax right here. I was going to say relax, and there's just relax a little bit and realize that there are a lot of things that you don't have to be so rigid about. And when you're less rigid, there's going to be more production through the people who should be helping you right now. When you're less rigid, you're going to find that people just want your help. You do... Oh, okay. I do see creep right here. C-R-E-E-P. What's that? What? Okay. Letter over here. L could be significant. It stayed out. I have 2 Y's out here. Something ends with Y, starts with Y. I have Jess or Jessie. This part's not for everybody, but you have somebody with the name Jess or Jessie that's been creeping on you. My light just flickered. They are an ex of somebody you dealt with. Oh my God, look, X is right here. I was just looking at the X and the axe. So they axed this X. Somebody axed this X, and this Jess or Jessie person has been creeping on you thinking that you're the reason. If you have social media, E, the letter E could be significant. They said this one's going to be good. Whoever's dealing with an E, this is good. What are you talking about here then? I have Allah here, if that's significant for someone who... Okay, oh, this is awesome. Somebody with the letter, whose name starts with the letter E, look, I have E and J here together, is going to give you a sack. Sack of what? Oh my God, I have moolah right here. Money, moolah. A sack of money. A nice sack of money. Because you've graduated. Look, I have G-R-A-D. I have graduate here. Look, grad. And I have grade A. Look, G-R-A-D-E. You got an A. You passed. Look at this. You've graduated. You've passed some type of major, you've had some type of major accomplishment. You passed some type of like test from the universe or something here. And they want you to know that you have moolah coming in. A sack of moolah, money. Yeah, my light just flickered again. You have a sack of money coming in here. Now, I have hay here, and it's spelled hay as in like hay barrels. So some of you may be moving somewhere that's kind of country or something like that, or you live there now. Okay. They won't. They said to expect a lot. This L stayed out again. Somehow L's significant for someone watching this. R. I'm sorry. They just gave me a message about myself. I didn't mean to sound all crazy there. What? There's somebody here with initial L or R that wants to apologize to you. They had once thought you were really lame and they had said some awful things about you or did something awful, and they're wanting to come clean about it. I have X here that came out together again, and Axe. Axe the X. So it's going to be something to do with that as well for someone. All right. So, yeah, there you go. That is what I have for you. I will see you in the next one. Peace and love.